Hey everyone, welcome to our latest n8n community live stream. And as you see, it's a little bit different this time. I am not in my usual place. I moved to Berlin to be with the n8n team and to meet a couple of community members. And we brought them here into our office. So it's going to be an interesting and different kind of stream than what you're used to. It's also going to be packed and we moved things around a little bit. So I'm going to move a bit fast on this one. Today, we have an extensive product update by our group product manager, Niklas Hatje. He is going to be talking about the data tables feature, the upcoming AI to workflow feature, and many other things as well. After that, I have one of our senior engineers, Daria Staverova, who actually works on data tables, and she's going to be talking about what the project looked like what the challenges were, and give you a quick demo as well. After that, we have Claire Champollier and Marcel Klaus Arends, our two ambassadors from Paris and Berlin, here with me in the studio, and we're going to be chatting about what they do for the ambassador program and what they enjoy doing and whatnot. Then finally, I have Angel Menendez here as a first, together on a live stream, which is going to be really exciting, and talk about his DevRel work at n8n. And then finally, we have special guests from Fireflies.AI, who are going to talk about their partner node and show a couple of live builds where they extend the functionality of their app. Well, as I said, I'm moving fast, so I'm switching now to Nick. Unfortunately, Nick could not be with us today, so I pre-recorded this session. You'll see that my haircut is slightly different in the video. So I'm going to switch to that, and after that, I'll be back with my guests. So enjoy. Hey, Nick, welcome to the live stream. As I just mentioned, you're not with us live today, but you weren't able to be here, right? So it's can you say something about what's going on?
Yeah, very, very unfortunate. Yeah, so I will probably watch this from the hospital. Nothing serious. I tore the ligaments in my ankle and need surgery. But yeah, happy that we found a way to at least talk about these topics and that we can talk about it today.
Brilliant. Yeah, I'm really glad that you make the time for this. We are getting a lot of questions after these live streams for more product updates. And people are always super curious about what's cooking, when are certain features going to be released, because some stuff has been leaking out a little bit, right? And so I think it will be great to just provide some clarity about that. Awesome. Unfortunately, people will not be able to ask any questions, so I will take the role of community watchers and ask Nick the difficult stuff, hopefully.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to it then. So
awesome. Yep. Yeah. So like you mentioned, I thought we maybe quickly talk about two things that we just shipped, but then of course mainly about what we are currently working on, what is coming very, very soon. So let's jump into that, and you just jump in with questions once you have some. So I want to mention two things that we just released. One of them is the workflow diffs feature, which is very, very cool. It allows you to see all the changes that you made on a workflow when pushing something to production. So that, of course, also means that it's currently only available for enterprise users. But we have some plans to get this in front of more users. More on that maybe later. But yeah, basically you have this canvas view where you see the differences, and you can easily see what was added, what was deleted, and what was edited, right? To kind of give a little bit more clarity about what was actually changed. The other thing that you maybe might have seen already is that we ship data tables. We're very, very happy about this, basically allowing you to store data across workflow executions for various use cases. But I know that we are, I think, giving a little demo later. So I won't tell too much about that for now. Just stay curious for the demo later.
Maybe one thing, Nick, that we can mention here is that this is currently in beta, right? So if people want to try it, they need to be on the beta on cloud or on the next branch on self-hosted.
Exactly. I think it's version 1.1.13. So that is the version where you need to be on to.
Yeah, and there was a bit of back and forth at the beginning of the week, right? When we first announced this, we did find some performance issues that we.
Yeah, unfortunately, there was one edge case. We did a lot of testing about performance and want to make sure that it's performant, right? We found one edge case that that really didn't work well. So we kind of had to, do some small changes. Luckily, our engineers are sometimes like superhumans, and like found a very, very quick fix, so that we could make it available quite quickly.
Perfect. Yeah. Well, that's exactly what a beta release is for, right? So
Exactly.
You get what you pay for in that case.
Exactly.
Nice. Okay, so yes, after this section, we're getting a live demo of data tables by the engineer who built this. So we're getting a lot more insights there.
Yeah, amazing.
Perfect. Yep.
Yeah, and with that, maybe we already jump into what's coming next. I would suggest, right? So a few things that we're working on right now, things that we're going to release soon, in the next weeks, in the next months. Even I think some of these are bigger, some of these are smaller. So happy to jump into some of them. And maybe to kick things off, I want to talk about MCP. Of course, we know that MCP has more or less established itself as kind of a standard framework when working with AI. And yeah, I think there's also been a lot of requests about it, and we want to work on MCP, make it a little bit better. One of the things that we have heard very often is the need for OAuth authentication in MCPs. And we want to support that both for the server, so for the trigger, but also for the client. And I have like a little video here. This is like our internal POC. So ultimately like this shows the client, right? We will add these dynamic OAuth credentials that will allow you to connect to these things, which allows you to connect to services that you're currently not able to connect to via MCP. Notion, for example, being one of them. I think Jira is another one that uses OAuth that wasn't possible so far. From now on, or once this is released, of course, you can also connect to these tools, and you can also add OAuth authentication to your server, to your MCP server. The other thing that we're working on is like a standalone MCP node, so that you can also use MCP without agents if you want that, and also on a dedicated n8n MCP implementation, which will basically allow you to access your n8n instance through MCP from the outside. So you will have a setting in n8n to enable it. You can then define which workflows should be visible to the MCP so that you can interact with it. I think we've seen lots of users use n8n, for example, in combination with vibe coding tools like Lovable. So that will definitely be easier if you use the MCP there, but also to just bring n8n to ChatGPT, to Claude, to your existing interfaces, to really like trigger workflows from there, to, I don't know, run queries with your n8n workflows.
So that would be the equivalent of the n8n API that gives you access to your executions and to your workflows, but now through MCP, right?
Exactly. A little bit like that. For now, it's really focusing on consuming, though. So not so much on the actual building part. I think there's this like really popular community MCP node that focuses a lot on building. We will focus on consuming here to kind of like see and run your workflows so that you can kind of trigger them, for example, in ChatGPT as well. We're also working together with OpenAI and Anthropic to bring that like in the UI there, like to have n8n listed as one of the connectors.
Oh, that is cool.
Hopefully we can make that happen. Yeah, and on the building part, I think we're also talking about that maybe later, because we believe it should be something that you're seeing in n8n, because workflow building is always iterative, right? So yeah, we have our little take on that. Awesome.
And Nick, like when you mention these things, are these like far into the future, or is that something that we can expect like this year?
Yeah, so this is definitely something we're working on this quarter. So definitely coming out this quarter. Some of it sooner, some of it later. As you saw, like we have this very nicely working POC already. Of course, just needs a little bit of love to make it look good and make it feel.
POCs are like the 80-20 rule, right?
Yes, exactly. But yeah, they like this should come sooner than later. So probably even like some of this in the beginning of the quarter already.
I know it's always difficult to promise like delivery times, but it's nice to have an idea of how far away these things are, right?
Yeah, definitely good question. So yeah, should be rather quick, I would say. The other things, and I guess these are maybe a little bit further out, like still something we work on this quarter, but maybe not the beginning of the quarter where we ship this already, are two core things that we want to work on, and pretty excited about both of them. The first one is autosave, and I think this has been a major feature request for a long time already. And we finally want to make it reality to make sure that you're not losing progress when, I don't know, your browser crashes or you just forget to save, right? Like we've all been there. We know how painful that is. So we want to make autosave a reality. And I think autosave is one of these features that sounds really simple when you talk about it, but then like once you think about it, it actually is not so simple. So one thing that you, for example, have there, you can't just autosave a workflow that is active, right?
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
then it's broken potentially because you're just adding stuff. So what we think about is that we want to add a draft and publish paradigm in the future, so that every workflow is a draft by default. And once you kind of come to a place where you think, no, now it's ready, like this is the next iteration that I want to publish, then you publish it, right? You maybe see the differences. We talked about the workflow diff that I showed at the beginning. Maybe you could see kind of what has changed in comparison to your last version that you published, to then kind of make sure that you really want to publish.
Publish with confidence. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know there's even a browser extension that just hits the save button every 10 seconds or so. And yeah, I'm always really wary of that because you don't know what you're saving, right? It's and it's going into production right away.
Yeah, and we are already seeing a lot of V1, V2, V2 final, V2 final point two, where people just duplicate their workflows because they don't want to work on like the open heart basically, because you can't just work on like an active workflow very well.
This is awesome, and I know we're going to get a lot of hearts and comments on this right now.
Hopefully.
And we have touched on it before, right? And I'm sure by now people understand the complexity of this, and it's fascinating that sometimes the cases that seem the simplest to solve, once you start thinking about them, they kind of like blow up in scope if you want to build a great solution for them. Yeah.
It's also touching a lot of other features, so there's also a lot of dependencies, I would say.
Okay. Cool.
The other thing that we want to work on is better binary handling. I think working with binary data in n8n has always been a little bit of a pain. So we want to make that better, especially also when you work with AI. I think there's just a lot of use cases that require binary data. So we want to make it easier to kind of reference the data. So we want to kind of come to a world where you can just drag and drop the binary to reference it, just like you do with your JSON, but then also showing the binary better in the input and output as well to hopefully make it much easier to work with.
Fantastic. Yeah, I see in your example you already called it past node, and it's always so hard to get data from the previous steps in your workflows right now.
Yeah, exactly. Then a few things for the bigger teams, especially enterprises, right? So we're working on custom roles there to really make sure that you have a very granular permission system to make sure people are really just seeing what they should see. Then we want to change variables, how those work, because right now variables are global. We want to make them kind of per project, right? So you can still have global variables, but basically a project would be able to override them or have their own kind of variables that no other project has. And then also dynamic credentials. Basically, when you think of one person building a workflow and another person consuming the workflow, you probably don't want this consumer to use your Slack account or something like this. So that is really about like making sure that someone who uses a workflow can only access what they should access and not, I don't know, some secret files.
Yeah, we see that a lot, and people are hacking their way around it as well, right? So having a solid, true solution is definitely the way to go.
Exactly. And then also a few core things that we want to do with AI building. I hope most of you guys out there know that we support streaming by now. But if you don't know, that is probably because we don't support it on our internal chat, so that you don't realize that streaming is an actual thing in n8n. So that is something that we finally want to do, so that you see it there as well. Then we want to enable waiting.
Sorry, the internal chat is the one on your canvas, right? While you're building your workflow.
Exactly. So while you're building, where you test your workflow and so forth, like that is the internal chat. Thanks for clarifying. Yeah,
nice.
Definitely. Then the other thing is waiting in tools. So that is something that hasn't worked for a very long time in n8n. has been blocking a lot of use cases, for example, human in the loop in tools. So that is something that we have more or less finished now, which then also enables us kind of to do more human in the loop steps. We believe that human in the loop is really important for AI building. We want to make it more of a first-class citizen, right? So you see this very nice mock-up here that we created with our hard design skills.
Very important tool, yes.
Exactly, but you can think of, for example, here, if you have a payout tool with Stripe, you probably don't want that to work fully automatic. You probably want to have kind of some approval in there. So what we're thinking is that you can just like put an approval step in between tools and agents, so that you can actually ask for permission, but also think of more than just like accepting and rejecting, right? Ultimately, we want you to kind of go back to your agent and say, no, do it this way, and then the agent goes for another round, takes your feedback in, and improves it.
Okay, and this waiting in tools, Nick, is it going to support like long waits as well, where it offloads the execution into the database and it doesn't add load to your instance?
Yeah, that should work this way. I think that's also how current human in the loop things work. So that should be the same for tools as well.
I believe currently the wait node, like if the wait is longer than 60 seconds or something like that, it puts the execution state in the workflow, and then it picks up at a later point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then it kind of like re-triggers it from there.
All right. So you could have thousands of waiting workflows, and it doesn't matter. It's
ideally, right? Like this is for something where you really have production use cases, and you want to make sure that the AI is actually doing no harm, right?
Right.
So that is kind of meant for these production critical use cases.
Perfect.
Probably go in the thousands. Awesome. And yeah, last but not least, I teased this a little bit, and maybe some of you have seen it as our text to workflow. Of course, a very hotly debated topic. I think there's also been a very popular video from Nate, who kind of found his way towards this feature. So we've been working on text to workflow a lot, actually. And we will continue to work a lot on this feature because we think it's really, really important. And maybe while we speak about it, I have this video where I just used it so that you can maybe see a little bit what it can do. Ultimately, it allows you to build workflows fully from text, right? And it also allows you to iterate on your workflows from text. So if you just want to remove a node, or you want to change, I don't know, Gmail to some Outlook node or something like this, you can just ask politely, and then the AI will do it for you. This is obviously still an early version, right? So we really think there's a lot still that we can improve on, but the quality is already quite good. We've been testing it secretly a little bit on like very few users so far, and we're quite happy with how it's going. Of course, while there's a lot of things to improve on.
That's so. There's a couple of these solutions out there in the wild as well, right? And I think some people are even selling this as an add-on.
Yeah.
What can you say a bit about like why is this taking us so long, or like what makes this really hard to do it well?
I think, or what we believe is that to do this well, it needs to be better than just, I don't know, working with Claude Opus or something and just letting it ask, right? Like we want that this feature really brings value. And we, of course, want that it's more right than wrong, right? Like if it's wrong very often, especially if you're not so familiar with n8n, then it's really hard to tell if it did what you asked for or not, right? So that is really something where we focus a lot on. We tried a lot of different things, and like teaching the knowledge of n8n to AI in a way where most of the time gets it right was a little bit of a challenge. Of course, there's some other things you see that it's maybe a little bit slow. It's also still quite expensive. I guess we're talking about that also as well. So yeah, I think there's just a lot of things to consider when building this kind of feature.
So to summarize it, we're designing this very carefully so that it's a reliable tool that's not gonna confuse people. That's the thing with vibe coding, is sometimes that people who are new to the tool, they can generate something, but they don't really know what's happening under the hood, right?
Exactly.
And so if it doesn't work, they're lost. They don't know how to fix it.
Exactly. And like this, don't get me wrong, this will still happen here, right? Like it's not perfect. But n8n is also there sometimes for more complex use cases, right? And we wanted to make sure that it also works for the slightly more complex use cases and not just for like the 3-node use cases or something like this. So that's definitely something that we try to do. Go ahead.
Can you also only use this to generate entire workflows, or can you also take an existing one and say, add this feature to it?
Yeah, you can also iterate on this, which is also something that we think is really important, and maybe also one of the things that we put a special emphasis on, because I think I mentioned it before already. We really think that workflow building is iterative, right? Like even if the AI was perfect, the human kind of building this workflow, you probably don't know yet perfectly how your workflow will look like. So we think it's really important that you're able to iterate.
Great. Yeah.
your workflow.
And in a predictable way as well, because sometimes with Vibe stuff, you change the prompt ever so slightly, and your solution becomes a completely different thing, right?
Yeah. So hopefully that doesn't happen. As always, please send feedback once you test this. So this will come live to all cloud users very, very soon. So I think in the middle of October, most likely, if everything works out. So yeah, please keep the feedback coming. We love feedback. And maybe why cloud only is probably a question that many of our users ask right now. So we definitely want to bring it to self-hosted as well. I think it's just technically speaking a little bit easier bringing it to cloud first. So we're basically doing it for technical reasons, right? We rather invested some more time in making the feature good than kind of making it available everywhere. But that should change. To be honest, we still need to figure some things out before that happens. Also, because of course, I mentioned that this is costing us money. It's not cheap at the moment. Bringing that to all users is cost-wise, like we're talking about millions here, not thousands of euros that this costs. So we unfortunately also have to meter that, right? So that you don't have like unlimited requests. So that is also something that we're still thinking about, like how to do that with self-hosted. Should there be an option to bring your own model, even if we then can't really guarantee the quality anymore? Is that something that we want or not? So those are all things that we still are trying to figure out.
And when you say it's expensive, that is mostly due to the LLM token cost.
Correct. Ultimately, what this is it's an agent under the hood that has different tools that it calls to kind of do all these decisions. So one of these, like each request is quite expensive.
Did you build that agent in n8n?
We did not, unfortunately.
What?
So the assistant that you see that kind of answers these questions, that is built in n8n. This one is not. Which also showed us maybe some things that we can improve on. I think we want to work more on like these complex agents, making that possible, multi-agent things. I think we also, we just released this agent tool, right? But also state management and stuff like this is something that we still want to bring to n8n, which is handy for more complex agents like this one.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. All right. Sorry for asking, Nick.
No, it's a perfectly fine question, and we asked that question ourselves as well, right? Because it's of course a little bit frustrating that we feel like we put in, but it's also such a complex topic where we don't know exactly what we need and so forth. So there was a lot of exploration where we just started from code in the beginning here. But would be super cool that's like one goal of mine that we could ultimately maybe migrate.
Replace it. Well, this makes a lot of sense because it points out the direction for our own tools as well, then, right?
Correct. Yeah, 100% correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So super excited about this launch. Super excited to hear feedback on what works, what doesn't work. Like there's definitely cases that don't work as well. So please keep telling us.
Awesome. So in summary, you might already run into this on cloud right now because we're testing it on a very small number of users. We're hoping to release this in October, mid-October-ish, depends a bit, cloud only. And we're thinking about what this would mean to bring this to self-hosted as well.
Exactly. That's definitely our goal.
And on cloud, there will probably be some restriction on how many jobs you can run a month. Or
exactly. It's probably going to be tied to your plan, kind of to make sure that we are at least not making like a huge loss of it. Like we're definitely not intending to make money out of this, but at least make sure that we don't
just cover
make
the costs.
a huge loss.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, this is going to excite a lot of people. This is going to be a big one.
Yeah, I'm very excited about this as well. So and like mentioned, we're definitely going to invest a lot more work into this to make this even better in the future.
Great. And you said when people use this, make sure you submit feedback. How does that work? Is there a feedback button on the screen when you use it? Or
so we definitely have the like thumbs up, thumbs down typical thing. So definitely use that. But otherwise, also just write us in the community forum and so forth. You can also write me on LinkedIn as well. So yeah.
Perfect. All right.
Awesome.
I think that concludes your updates for today, right?
Exactly. That's what we're working on right now. Of course, there's a few more things, but like these were, I guess, the essential ones that I really wanted to share today.
Nice. All right, Nick. Well, thanks so much for taking the time to share this with us today. We all wish you the best next week. So by the time people see this, it's like this week. And yeah, I hope to catch you again soon on this live stream about new stuff that's coming up.
Always a pleasure. Thanks for having me, bud.
Okay, well, take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
So, Nick, if you're watching this, thanks again, and I hope you're doing well. One thing I do need to say is that since recording this last Thursday, we changed the name from Text to Workflow to AI Workflow Builder, and that's sometimes how quickly things move in this company. It's kind of hard to keep up with how some of the things change. Right, next topic. I would like to welcome Daria Staverova, who works on data tables, and hear her story of her role in this. Daria, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing great.
Awesome! It's really nice to have you on the show. I know it's the first time, so it's a different experience from a usual day. But yeah, we were really curious to hear a bit more, like behind the scenes, like what's involved in building a feature like this. How much work is it? How many people worked on that? And maybe like get a quick walkthrough of it as well.
Sure, let me tell you more.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So first, a little bit about the feature itself. Data tables let you store data directly in your n8n instance without external sources, which means that you do not need to connect to external databases. You do not need to set credentials like when using external data sources like Google Sheets, and it usually works way faster. And additionally, you can share one data set between different workflows of one project. Then let me tell you a bit about the development. So the whole team actually worked on building data tables, which included 6 engineers. And it took us 2 months. What made it difficult was the fact that we support different configurations, SQLite, Postgres, MySQL databases. We needed to make sure that it works correctly for all of them. Mm-hmm. And now I want to show you how to use it. I hope you can see my screen.
Yep, let me bring it on.
Yes.
Here we go.
So first of all, in your project, you can see this new tab, Data Tables, and here you can create your table. And you can notice that we have the system columns ID created at and updated at. They're occupied, but you can create any other column, and we have 4 types. Basically here is how you create it. And right away here, you can add rows, change them. It's all on flight. But
it's
this
like
page
a spreadsheet,
is more,
right?
Yeah. This page is more like for testing to see what you got there. But of course, the real power is from doing it from the node side. So I will show you, I created this table called users, where we would store name, email, GitHubs, active Boolean, and updated, so we have already a system column, but I decided to create my own updated because why not? I have this workflow prepared. It's a simple workflow. There is a dummy data of, let's say it's an API call request that I made, and here's an upsort row. So I chose my table, and I'm just absorting and mapping automatically the columns because they're made the same way. Here we go, and let's see. Now we have 4 users in our table. And let's say we want to remove inactive users. So then here we can add a data table node, delete, wrong one. So it can data table delete rows. By the way, you can also choose an operation right here. You don't need to delete node. Then I'm choosing my table. Then I want to match all conditions. So let's say I want to find where active is false, so inactive users, and where, let's say, the updated date was less than a year ago, because like we want to delete only old users. And what is also nice, we introduced this dry run so that you can check what you're gonna delete.
Nice. Yeah. I did not know about that one. So
yeah,
I learned something.
Here, I already see that I forgot that here it shouldn't be equals, but it should be less than or equal. That's why I didn't see anything. But here we go. This is the user I want to delete, the user with an ID 3. And now we remove this dry run and really delete them. And we go to our table and check it. But the user with ID number 3 is deleted. So yeah, basically this is how it works. There could be other use cases, of course, like having several workflows working with the same data, which is nice. Then storing reusable prompts. Honestly, like your imagination is the only limit. But speaking of limits, data tables are not a replacement for databases. They don't have foreign keys. They don't have default values. It's a lightweight solution. So we introduced a limit of 50 megabytes. And it is enforced by default to all users. It's like a safety feature to not crash your instances. However, on self-hosted instances, you can adjust it through an nth variable, but please use it at your own risk. But don't worry, you will see warnings before you reach the limit. But once you exceed it, write operations will start failing.
Right.
And yeah, the last part about our future plans. On our radar, there are features like importing from a CSV, sharing data tables between different projects, triggers on different events like updating data. But of course, most of all, we're currently waiting for your feedback to act on it.
This is amazing, Daria. And I know this is something that users have asked for a long time, being able to have like a simple data store inside n8n. That is also going to be a lot faster than external databases, or probably like Google Sheets, right? That's the default data store for a lot of people. This is going to speed up both development, but also execution by a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, it was really great having you here and walking us through this thing. And I really enjoyed hearing a bit about the behind the scenes as well. So thank you. And I hope I can invite you again in the future.
Thank you. I will be glad to join you.
Take care. Bye. Right. And with that, it is time for guests. And this is like a first time for me to have people live in the show with me. And so with me here, I have Marcel and Claire. Marcel is our ambassador in Berlin. So for you, this was a short trip.
Indeed, it was.
And Claire comes from Paris, so you were traveling quite a bit longer, I imagine.
Yes.
Nice. So, guys, I'm really curious to learn a little bit about you, like, what do you do in day-to-day life and what brought you here, but also to hear a bit about what the ambassador program means for you and what you enjoy doing, and if people should join us or not, right? So let me start with Claire, actually.
Okay. Yeah. I'm Claire. I'm based in Paris, and I'm a freelancer. I work mainly for non-profits on the positive impact startups, and I am an ambassador for n8n for 1 year today. It's my birthday.
Oh, no, really? Oh dear, we're going to have a nice dinner for you tonight.
and I start using n8n just a bit before becoming an ambassador, and I jump in and start doing a super thing with n8n. And we are 2 ambassadors in Paris, and we start doing meetups elsewhere in France too. So in October we have one in Nantes and one in Paris. So it will be quite fun.
Super cool.
And what I like about being an ambassador is meeting the community. I'm a developer at the beginning, and it's coming back to the dev community I really like. But you have to enjoy meeting people and having people contacting you, because you receive lots of contact, and you need to choose what you can afford or not.
I remember the Paris meetups. They were like the largest ones for a while. I think now it's on par with Amsterdam, etc. Dylan is definitely blowing everything out of the water with his San Francisco events. So we have a bit of catching up to do.
The first one we just did a drink, because we were not sure people will join, and so we were thinking at least we'll be 2. But lots of people joined, and the bar was quite crowded, so it was funny.
And we also invited you to help us at No Code Milan earlier this year, where we met for the first time.
Yes.
And that was really nice. You did a couple of workshops there for us.
Yes, and the fun fact is that I discovered n8n during Undercode Week the year before with Marcel. We were talking. So Undercode Week is the place to be.
So next year we'll be there. With 3 of us at least, right?
Yes. Oh yeah, that would be cool.
Fantastic. All right. Thanks, Claire. Marcel, what's your story?
Yeah, by the way, I don't know, but I guess most of you know me by being Dr. Pure Evil, which would be my, I guess, most successful ambassador story, I guess, being with Max, doing for n8n a game show. That was definitely fun. I wouldn't say that it's like the usual thing with being an ambassador, but, it could be happening, so better sign up for the ambassador program. But yeah, even before that, I was also talking a lot about AI agents, and that's actually, I think, the thing that made me an ambassador, that I was doing essentially a lot of talking publicly about n8n. And but you reached out to me and were like, hey, we're ramping up this program. And I think I ended up being Liam joined, so I think I was ambassador number 4. So I had the hope that I would be in the first 3, but I guess I'm the now 4th ambassador.
I remember your first meetup here in Berlin was pretty big as well. We had
a
team there.
I think you have to think about this was 2024, I guess, and of course n8n wasn't hyped yet, so we had, I think, 60 or 70 people there. It was pretty crowded, and and the meetup after that was around Christmas. That wasn't good for my KPI. But after that one, we had like a big meetup here in Berlin as well. And talking from an ambassador's perspective, I think it's super cool to be here for the community, hosting meetups, giving people even more the room to share their stories, like what they have built and what they are working on, how n8n help them automate their job, or how they help people automating their jobs. So always cool to see what, even we are super regional, at least for the meetup hosting, right? But in Berlin, there were cool stories. In Paris, you had cool stories. I mean, we even have, worldwide ambassadors. Like, I know there's a big Brazil community as well. And I think this is super, super cool that you can tap into really regional network, I would say. You be there for the people, you represent n8n. And I think especially that part of representing n8n is something that I really enjoyed the last couple of months, I would say, because there were a couple of speaking opportunities that came through n8n. Just last week, I was at Quadrant Vector Space Day, which was a great conference from Quadrant. And, like the Quadrant community is very, very similar to the n8n community, so there was a lot of synergies. I would even say a lot of love for n8n, but also love for Quadrant. So yeah, it's really cool stuff that we can do as ambassadors.
Yeah, I think, and this is true for both of you, like once we get to know ambassadors better, we can start inviting you to events where you do stuff on your own, or you join us for activities. And so in this case, like you're also here because tomorrow we are celebrating n8n Builders Berlin, our first conference-like event, where you're both a speaker as well.
Yes.
Right? And so that this could be true for anyone else at home as well who is thinking about becoming an ambassador. Like, you know, it's like once you become closer to us, you know, doors can open for you, right? That means like doing activities, but also maybe connecting to companies, etc. Yeah, it can be what you want, basically. Yeah.
I also often got like the question when people reaching out to me, hey, how do I become an ambassador?
Yeah.
I guess now it's your chance because n8n is looking for ambassadors. But I think it's also really important to mention that you're really facing the community there. I got this question a lot actually from really decent agencies. They're doing a lot of implementation work with n8n agents to automate work. And yeah, usually they have the help to be an ambassador, brings more leads. But I would say most of the time you face fellow automation engineers.
So don't do it for the leads. If you're in for the leads, we have an expert partners program that is especially designed for that. So you can sign up for it. We can validate your skills and add you to a directory and help you get business that way. I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing ambassador work in a more commercial setting, but at its heart, it needs to be like love for community, meeting people, sharing knowledge, right? And do you have any things to comment here, Claire?
Yes. I think you have opportunities coming and you have to decide what you want to do and just do it for the love, the love of meeting the community. And some opportunities will show, but you really have to be there with people. And I think meeting people really helped me in my work, because I was working on workflows and they show me things that, oh yes, that's the thing I needed. So when you are in the meetup, you discover lots of things and they are coming to you after to ask you things too, and it creates help between people working on anything.
Have you both also built relationships with other community members, like people you collaborate with, or that you
Yes.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, even collaborated with the other ambassadors, which, you know, like we are sitting also in the same Slack. So there's also like little ambassador network, which is really cool to, you know, like talk or help with finding good solutions. There's really a lot going on in the Slack channel as well. But also, during the events, if you're, definitely, actually, I think, oh, not sure, but yeah, I guess some of them were, or I think Felix was on the meetup and he became also an ambassador. And I'm not sure which email he's the other Berlin ambassador was. No, he was doing workshops. He was doing great workshops.
Example. He kind of like, we found him in a different way because he did these great workshops in Berlin, and then he became an ambassador, and now he's also working with us in a commercial setting, providing us the n8n starter sessions workshops around the world. Yeah. More about that later, by the way.
And I was contacted quite 2 days ago by an expert. They have upcoming questions, and they are working on a big appointment, not small one. And they told to me, and you are an ambassador, maybe we can do something together, and then we can bring them to the meetup and help them do things. And we have a really intense community in France. We have the No-Code France Slack, which is a Slack where people help each other work, and we have very, very active community on n8n. And it's something really, really interesting to see how people interact. They did the challenge from the arena, and we were talking about it. They were here, oh, I have got 40, 41, no, 42.
You were like following it along?
Yes, and everyone was following and sharing tips, and it was really interesting.
No-Code France is huge. You have over 15,000 members, I think.
Yes,
right?
yes. And 1,000 in the n8n channel.
1,000. Oh wow, that's a lot. Guys, I'm super happy you made the trip and came over here. We'll be seeing a lot of each other in the next 24 hours, I think. I realize I haven't shared your contact information yet, so I'll do that right after. And then I'm going to walk through a couple of recent ambassador activities, show you what's coming up. Claire, people can meet you in Paris on October 16th?
The 16th in Paris and the 14th in Nantes. And I'll be talking to a vibe coding meetup next Monday too, about n8n and vibe coding.
Fantastic.
But it's not an n8n meetup, but
excellent. Well, thanks again, and I'll talk to you in a bit after the show. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. And yeah, as I promised, I should also share their contact information. So if you want to know more about Claire, you can reach her on LinkedIn on this address, and same for Marcel, or just to look for their names, right? That's the other interesting thing. Next up, quick review, and I'm going to really speed through this stuff that happened over the last couple of weeks. We had meetups run both by ambassadors and non-ambassadors. So we had a meetup in Vienna that was focused a bit more on the enterprise side of things. I think about like 45, 50 people showed up there. Then we had one in Munich run by our ambassador Mirta. We had a new type of event by Maralisa, who's our new Amsterdam ambassador. And Maralisa wanted to test doing n8n co-working days, where basically we have like open session, people join each other, share knowledge, etc. Since we are in Paris and Maralisa is coming over tomorrow as well, we are going to have one on Friday here. So if you're interested, take a look at our events page. I will have a link later. Angel, will you be in Berlin on Friday?
I will, yeah.
Right.
So I'll be here till Sunday is when I go home. Yeah.
If you feel up to it.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll provide some drinks and some lunch.
Yes.
And,
sign me up, man. I'll be there.
Fantastic. Then a couple of non-ambassadors, because you can also do a meetup or an event without being an ambassador, right? So we had, and this is just like a random selection. We had a meetup in Bangkok in Thailand by, I hope I pronounced this right, by Yarufat. We had one in Pakistan, and Fakhar is really knocking it out of the field. He's done like weekly meetups in Pakistan and all the large cities so far.
Wow.
Doing an amazing job. As you know, we have been doing the n8n starter sessions, workshops for absolute beginners by Emal Sayer and his company Avanai. We're skipping this week, but then we'll be in New York next week, if I'm right. And we have just started planning Q4, where we are going to be increasing the volume of these things, both in Europe and in the US. So we are really going to provide more and more of these events. As I said, if you want to learn more, check out n8n.io/community/events. That's always our up-to-date event calendar. And this is, again, a random selection of stuff that's coming up. So there's going to be a live stream for Spanish speakers. There's going to be another event by Fakhar in Karachi this time. We have a community-run event in New York, more starter sessions, one in Accra in Ghana, if I'm not mistaken. Angel here, and you guys don't see Angel yet, but you will in a second, but he is here.
I'm hiding here in the background.
Exactly. And you can meet us in London in 2 weeks as well. Hey, there you are.
Hey, everyone. It's funny to be on this side of the stream for a change. It's
yeah,
cool.
right?
Yeah, I like it.
All right, so closing words. If you're interested in being an ambassador, if you like doing community events, if you have experience like setting up activities, connecting with people, you can reach out to us on n8n.io/ambassadors. If you have already applied and if you're wondering why you haven't heard from us yet, we are really, really, really close to sending out these emails. Like, we needed time to filter this and do a really good job. And there's a lot of you waiting, we know. So sorry about that, but we will get back to you soon. That said,
hey, it's me. Hey, good to see you again, sir.
There you go.
Pleasure.
So Angel, we've never been in one of these before, right? Usually it's you in like the US and it's me in the Netherlands, but now we're in Berlin together.
Love it.
How are you doing, man?
I'm good. I just stepped off a plane. I ran over here to the office. I like dropped off my stuff at the hotel. Here I am. I'm excited. It's the first time that I've seen the headquarters. Like, this is so cool.
And you're like with all these community members suddenly here. It's like, it's not usual. Right?
No,
yes.
not as common, but it's been so fun. And like meeting everyone is such an interesting experience because like we work remotely all the time. So I'm used to like having space and quiet. And then now it's like, oh, I can go talk to people and like water cooler stuff. It's great.
One of the other team members, Victoria, who just arrived here, she said, "Oh, you guys have legs," which is like if you only see each other on the screen.
I love it. Yeah, feels that way.
So what's happening in your side of n8n, Angel? What are you working on?
It's been busy. Yeah, you know, it's been a balance between working on some of our internal projects and automating them, building AI agents around them, and I'm working on a lot of video content on AWS. So I'm doing a deep dive on how to deploy. I'm doing a follow-up to my benchmarking video. So I built this last week this like almost like internal service to like benchmark our n8n instances so we can see kind of like how well they're doing, you know, what specs, you know, what they can handle, all these things. So like it's basically an n8n form. You type in the instance, username and password, it goes and it just like beats it up. I call it the benchmark bruiser. So because it just beats up those poor n8n servers. But for good cause.
Your job title is DevRel, right? So when you're doing these things, you're building internal tools, but that also means you got new content to share with our community.
Exactly. So I think like what I've been learning is taking kind of these nuggets that we deploying internally, like dog fooding, and then like exposing them externally so that other companies can build on it, improve on it. So what I like about n8n is that you're not stuck with what you have. You can make it your own. So
perfect.
Yeah, so I think that's mostly what I've been working. So just a lot of content backend stuff and a lot of different like webinars and streams. Like I think the one you mentioned here, I think for the builders, I'm going to be working with Mary, who's one of our community members. Incredible work on RAG agents. Like I'm super excited to talk to her and kind of like interview her, and she's going to do some demos and stuff. So it's going to be fun.
And tomorrow you're also going to be doing your Star Wars demo again, like as a beginner.
My favorite. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Star Wars. If you've seen my backdrop, and I really think it's such an easy way to get into n8n because, man, otherwise spreadsheets and stuff, that's so boring. Everyone, you know, you start to fall asleep, you know, unless it's your own niche or something. But I find that Star Wars helps like bridge the gap between just interesting enough to care and pay attention, but not so complex that you can't grasp the concepts. So
if people are interested, they can also find this on our YouTube channel.
I think so. You know what? I don't think I've done that one on YouTube. I need to. I have it on Loom. So I need to migrate it over.
We'll fix that.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to be doing an event in London in 2 weeks where I'm going to be doing a Bedrock version of that demo. So basically for the AI portion that I've like added, I now have like an AI model that tells you if Mark Hamill is in a film. So, but that is using different agents. So we're going to test it with Bedrock and see how it does.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I'm excited.
Well, Angel, I'm looking forward to your workshop tomorrow.
Thank you.
And you know, it's really great to be here in person. So thanks.
A pleasure.
And, see you on the show again soon.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Sign me up. Pleasure. This has been great.
Fantastic, man. Thanks. With that, we have arrived at our last part of the show. And I would like to invite Nishant and Shantanu from Fireflies, who are going to be talking about their note-taking tool and how you can extend it with their new partner node in n8n as well. Hey guys, welcome to the show. It's great to see you here. Nishant, I think you are going to kick off with a presentation about the product, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having us, Bart. It's a pleasure to be here. I'll just kick off with an introduction to Fireflies, and then we'll build a few workflows for the community here.
Fantastic, yes. Let me share your screen. Here we go.
All right, perfect. So let's keep it short and sweet, but here's what we'll cover today. An introduction to Fireflies. We'll cover the Fireflies node on n8n, and we'll do a live demo and show you a few workflows, and then we'll have a short Q&A. Any questions you put in the chat, we're happy to answer. And just to introduce myself and my colleague Chan here, I am Nishant. I am the head of GTM and partnerships here at Fireflies.AI. And Chan, my colleague here, is the senior product manager for integrations at Fireflies.AI.
Hey guys.
Hey Chan.
All right, so whoever hasn't heard about Fireflies, whoever has heard about Fireflies, you might have heard about Fireflies being an AI note taker that you see in your meetings all the time. You might have seen it on a Microsoft Teams call or Google Meet call, taking notes while you were conducting the meeting. Fireflies has evolved from being just an AI note taker. We like to call it the #1 AI teammate for your meetings because it does more than just take notes for you. So far, we've been around since, the version of Fireflies that you see today has been around since early 2020, right before COVID. The company's been around since 2016. We have served over 20 million people across the globe. The platform is trusted by 75% of Fortune 500 companies. That includes more than 500,000 organizations. And we've processed over 3 billion meeting minutes over the past few years, which is insane if you think about it. But yeah, what is Fireflies? If you're not familiar with Fireflies, Fireflies captures knowledge and automates tasks before, during, and after your meetings. So of course, a lot of us are having meetings day in and day out. Fun fact, CEOs spend more than 70% of their time, their work schedule, in meetings. Yet, 70% of that knowledge is lost right after the meeting. And that's what we want to solve with Fireflies. Because there is a lot of insight, a lot of knowledge that's stored in your meetings. Fireflies as a platform offers transcript summaries and action items, of course, with over 95% accuracy. In addition to that, we have an AI assistant who you can talk to, which is called Ask Fred. You can query Ask Fred anything about your meetings, anything about your company knowledge, and get instant answers. We, of course, have more than 80 integrations, including, of course, with n8n, but also with lots of CRMs, dialers, web conferencing platforms, project management tools. We're a very open platform. We want to meet you guys where you are working on your daily tools. 200 plus AI apps. AI apps, you can get custom outputs from your meeting. So imagine you need a scorecard from your meeting, you need a report from your meeting, you need a follow-up email from your meeting. You can do all of that with the 200 plus AI apps that we have on Fireflies. Plus you can create your own AI apps according to what you need. And bonus is those AI apps can now be hooked up to n8n using the n8n node. And then you can do whatever you want with those outputs, right? Now, this is everything that Fireflies has been doing so far, but as you can see, the last thing on this slide is AI teammates, which is the next vision and the next step for us where, hey, Fireflies has been a participant in your meetings for so long, why can't it take your meetings? And that's something that we are looking forward to very, very soon, where Fireflies, you're going to be able to automate a lot of your redundant calls, which you do on a regular basis, whether that's stand-ups, where you're giving updates, or it's interviews with candidates, or it's you're answering questions to sales people on sales calls. So AI teammates will be able to do the heavy lifting there. Now, let's go a little bit into the n8n and Fireflies integration. What does that look like? Of course, you're going to be able to automate workflows between Fireflies and the 1,000 plus apps that n8n supports. The Fireflies node on n8n will be able to help you fetch meeting transcripts, summaries, action items, as well as AI app outputs. So you're getting all of the information that is stored in your meetings, your organization's meetings, as a knowledge base, and you're able to access that within n8n with a powerful node. And then you can send that to whichever platforms you like. You can, do whatever you want with it using AI and customize it to your liking. Another thing that you can do is upload audio on the n8n node, the Fireflies node. And of course, right now, Fireflies can join all of your meetings on web conferencing. It can connect to your business telephony systems like AirCall and RingCentral and these telephony systems. So you're getting all of these meetings and calls, but if you're recording audio on any other platform, you can also send it to Fireflies using n8n. And so let's say you are recording phone calls, or you're recording WhatsApp calls, or you're recording something else, you can send that to Fireflies. You'll get the transcript, you'll get the summary, you'll get the action items, everything, all the insights as well. So at the end of the day, you're automating workflows with all of your meeting data. And now we'll go into a live demo where we're going to showcase 3 different workflows and show you how to build them. We'll probably do like 2 minutes each. Number 1, generate and receive a daily audio recap of meetings. So imagine you wake up in the morning, you're going to work, and you can just listen to everything that was discussed in all of your meetings yesterday or last week, or all of your meetings that are coming up this week, right? And you can have that delivered to you every morning with this workflow that we're going to show you. Scheduling follow-up calls after a meeting ends, number 2. So, for example, I'm meeting Bart, or Chan and I are meeting Bart, and we say, hey, we want to schedule a meeting 2 days from now. That can be taken as an action item from the meeting and automatically create an event on Google Calendar. And finally, we all drop follow-up emails right after our meetings. It's a very easy use case. Have a draft follow-up ready in your inbox. And all you have to do is edit and send it to the person. Powerful workflows that we're going to show you. And of course, you all, the community, you can build lots of amazing workflows. I'm sure all the creativity you have between Fireflies and n8n. So yeah, thank you for being here. I'm going to hand over to my colleague Chan, who will walk through these different workflows.
Thanks, Nishant. Welcome, Chan.
Hey, thanks, Nishant. Hey, Bart. Good to be here. Yeah.
So
let's get.
You are going to show us these awesome examples, like happening live from your desktop.
Yes, absolutely. So like Nishant said, so Firefly is essentially your AI teammate that's going to help the way you work. And with that, we are a very open platform, and we've recently integrated with n8n, and there are a lot of crazy stuff that you can do to boost your productivity almost like 10x. So before we get into the workflows, I just want to give a quick overview of the Fireflies node. So with the Fireflies node, you can do a lot of things. So it supports a variety of capabilities, such as getting outputs of an AI app. I will give you an idea of what AI app is shortly. You also have an option where you can upload audio. So not just extracting data from Fireflies, you can also send audio to Fireflies to have them transcribed and get the results in Fireflies. With that being said, you have all the meeting related stuff, such as get a transcript of a meeting, the analytics of a transcript, which is something that we've introduced recently. You can understand what the analytics of a specific meeting are, who the speaker talk time, the keywords that were spoken, and a lot of other stuff. Get the URL of a transcript, get a list of transcripts from a specific date time period, get the summary of a transcript, get the video URL so that you can embed it into another player of your choice, and also get a list of users associated with the specific meetings and also your Fireflies accounts. So with that being said, I've created 3 simple workflows for you. Let me walk through them real quickly. So like Nishant said, every morning at 9 a.m., this workflow, the n8n workflow that we've created, will look through yesterday's meetings in Fireflies and consolidate all of them and create a crisp morning digest for you so that you are well prepared for today. So if you're an executive, this is going to help you, like super important for you. So let me just execute this workflow while I explain what happens in the backend. So I have it scheduled for every day at 9 a.m. So I have a date node that basically gets yesterday's date. And immediately I have a Fireflies node that gets a list of transcripts that basically occurred on yesterday. And what I do is, once I get the list, I feed it back into a Fireflies node to get the summary of every transcript. So let's say I have 10 meetings, let's say I have 15 meetings yesterday. What do I do with all of them? So I have an aggregate node that basically consolidates all of those transcripts into a single field so that I can feed it into an LLM, which is basically ChatGPT here. And what ChatGPT does is basically consolidates all of those summaries into a single beautiful digest for you. So if you want, you can just have the digest sent across to your channel of your choice. It can be WhatsApp, it can be Gmail, it can be Slack. And this example, we use Discord. So what happens here is the ChatGPT will, OpenAI basically will summarize all of this into a neat digest and give that into a text. So if needed, you can just get the text in your Discord. But what we are trying to do here is to have it as an audio. So I pass it to 11 Labs, which basically converts into a neat, nice audio and have it sent to a Discord channel where I've configured it accordingly. So let me just show you how this looks as an output. So here I have on my Discord channel. So I've created a bot and I configured the bot tokens in n8n. And you can see that it greets me and it also gives me a neat summary of what happened on yesterday's meetings. So this is a super important workflow if you are super busy and you want to know what happened yesterday and also how well you can be prepared for the upcoming day. And like Nishant said, we have like 200 plus AI apps. So basically, this is a meeting here at Firefly. So what is AI apps? So AI apps are basically apps that can be used to extract specific insights from your meeting. It can be, hey, generate an email from this specific meeting. Hey, generate a scorecard from this meeting. So we have 200 plus AI apps that we currently support. You can find them all over here. And you see, we have different AI apps for different use cases like customer success, customer support, sales, general, healthcare, whatnot. So this is how an AI app looks. So before I proceed into the next workflows, I think it'll be a good insight to give you what an idea of an AI app is. So I have a recruiting call here, and you can see that I have an AI app that basically generates a candidate scorecard. So it evaluates this candidate based on different parameters, and it gives me a verdict as well. So you can create multiple AI apps on that aspect. With that being said, let's move on to the other workflows, which is the second one. So let's say I have a meeting with Bart, and I want to create a follow-up email right in my inbox right after I close the meeting. So that's where AI app outputs come in. So I have a webhook event, which is basically the trigger. So Firefly supports webhook, and I have the I have the webhook configured, and with the same thing, it automatically waits for a few seconds for the AI app output to be generated for the specific meeting. And once that's done, it automatically creates a draft for me right after I'm done with the meeting in the most preferred format that I like. So that's one thing. And we also have another workflow, like I said, which is basically about...
Nishant, if I could pause you for a second, if you could pop back to the Discord channel where you posted the generated audio. We're getting questions from the audience that they would like to hear what it's like. Can you play one?
Yes, absolutely. Sorry, I was just moving fast because of the time.
I know, and I appreciate that. Just
just give me 1 minute so I can share it with the tab audio.
Yeah. While you're getting that set up, did you really have 16 meetings yesterday? I hope not, right?
You never know. You never know. Yesterday was a Tuesday, so.
Oh.
Yeah, so let me just share my screen and let me just play it out for you.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, there you go.
I think someone's asking.
Good morning, Chan. The team remains.
Can you hear it?
Yep.
Good morning, Chan. The team remains committed despite intermittent illness, focusing on performance appraisals, emissions resolution, customer feedback, automating one-touch ticket resolution with prototype.
Awesome. Yeah. We don't want to hear the secrets of your meetings, but this was great. Just
Yeah, I think. Let me just switch back to tabs. So
folks are asking if we'll have a template on n8n. We will be sharing templates for all three of these workflows after that.
Perfect.
Oh, absolutely. 1 minute. Yes. So like I was saying, we also have another event workflow that's created that basically creates a follow-up event based on the output of an AI app. So what I've done here is something special. For example, once I have a meeting with a specific client, and what this AI app does is basically to understand if the output of the meeting is positive or negative. If it's negative, it automatically understands if it's negative. I have a filter here that basically proceeds if the outcome is negative and creates an event right away 2 days later to understand why that the negative outcome was achieved. So with that being said, these are some of the important workflows that we currently have. But like I said, the opportunities and the creative level that you can go with the amount of actions that we support with the Fireflies node is kind of crazy. We are super excited to see what the community builds with the Fireflies node. We're going, like Nishant said, we will be sharing the entire templates with you in a JSON format so that you can just have it plugged right away, and do share with us on whatever you're building. We're excited to see that. And yes, that's all I had to show. But before I wrap up, a quick shout out to the team back home who built the the Fireflies n8n node. Shout out to Mustafa who built this. He did an amazing job on this. So excited to see what the community builds going forward from here. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. And yeah, let me know when you publish these templates, and I'll add the link to our YouTube video so people can find it later. In case you're wondering, all these streams are recorded, so you can view them back later on our YouTube channel under the Live tab. So yeah, thanks for coming over. And I know it's late for at least for Chan. I don't know, Nishan, where you are based, but it's sometimes it's hard to do these things. So I appreciate it.
We're also a fully remote team, so
there you go. Yep.
No problem.
Fantastic. Well, I appreciated the demo, and I don't see any open questions here right now, so I think we can conclude. Thanks again, and hope to see you again soon.
So much.
Take care, guys. Bye.
Thank you.
All right. With that, we are a bit over time, so sorry about that. But I told you we had a lot of ground to cover today. But this concludes our live stream. As always, we have an after party. Let me throw up the QR code to that here. So if you could scan this, it's a Google Meet where you can just join and chat with everyone, talk about the projects that you've been working on, or ask us some questions. I'm going to invite Angel and Claire and Marcel back here as well, so they can join the party if you like. And yeah, that's all for me for today. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you again soon. Bye.